The holographic display flickered to life in the center of the Galactic Council's emergency assembly chamber, casting blue light across the stunned faces of representatives from 47 different species. Ambassador Zekthara of the Virillian Confederation leaned forward in his crystalline chair, his 4 eyes wide with disbelief. "Repeat that transmission," he commanded, his translated voice echoing through the vast chamber. The communication officer, a nervous quantum-class AI construct, materialized beside the display. "The Hegemony Fleet Commander has declared intent to invade the Sol system, specifically targeting the third planet, Earth. They cite human expansion violations and threat to galactic stability as justification." A collective gasp rippled through the assembly. Ambassador Yildana of the Peaceful Collective, her tentacles twitching anxiously, rose from her biofluid pod. Are they completely insane? Do they not understand what humans are capable of? High Counselor Morgath, the ancient leader whose species had witnessed the rise and fall of 3 galactic civilizations, slowly stood. His weathered features bore the weight of millennia, and when he spoke, the chamber fell silent. "It appears they have forgotten the lessons of the Xerian War." The mention of that conflict sent shivers through the assembled delegates. Even the newest members of the council knew the stories, how humanity had turned the tide in what seemed like an impossible war against an enemy that had conquered half the galaxy. "Perhaps," suggested Ambassador Kretor of the Trading Federation, his insectoid mandibles clicking nervously, "we should remind them of human capabilities." The holographic display shifted, showing tactical reports from the Hegemony's advanced scouts. Fleet Admiral Vexiron of the Hegemony had assembled nearly 3,000 vessels, their largest invasion force in centuries. Dreadnoughts the size of small moons, carrier ships bristling with fighters and enough firepower to level entire worlds. "They believe numbers will give them victory," observed Dr. Hilnath, the Council's xenopsychologist. "They see Earth's relatively small defensive fleet and assume weakness. They do not comprehend the human concept of last stand." Ambassador Zekthara pulled up Earth's defensive statistics on his personal display. 57 orbital defense platforms, 134 active vessels, and approximately 15 billion humans on the surface. The Hegemony outguns them 50-1. "And they think this matters," High Counselor Morgath said with what might have been amusement in his ancient voice. "Show them the historical records." The chamber's main display began cycling through archived footage. The Battle of Kepler Station, where outnumbered human defenders had held off an enemy fleet for 6 months using nothing but scrap metal and determination. The liberation of Tau Ceti, where human Marines had fought through vacuum with breached suits rather than retreat. The legendary defense of New Geneva, where human civilians had jury-rigged mining equipment into weapons and driven off professional soldiers. Humans, Dr. Hilnath explained to the newer council members, possess what we have termed adaptive lethality. When threatened, they do not merely fight, they evolve their methods of warfare in real time. They turn anything into a weapon. They refuse to acknowledge defeat even when logic demands it. Ambassador Yildana's biosuit changed color to a pale green, her species' expression of deep concern. "Should we not warn the Hegemony? This seems unnecessarily cruel to let them proceed." "We tried," the AI construct interjected. "Diplomatic channels were opened 47 minutes ago. Admiral Vexiron dismissed our concerns as alien propaganda and accused the Council of being corrupted by human influence." The chamber erupted in overlapping conversations in dozens of languages. Finally, High Counselor Morgath raised his hand for silence. "Then we shall observe," he declared. "And perhaps Admiral Vexiron will learn what every species in this galaxy has eventually discovered. Humans are most dangerous when you threaten their home." 3 days later, the first reports arrived. The Hegemony fleet had entered the Sol system with great fanfare, broadcasting demands for immediate surrender. Earth's response had been swift and, to outside observers, seemingly suicidal. Every available ship launched to meet the invasion force head-on. "The humans are outnumbered catastrophically," reported the monitoring station's AI. "Initial engagement shows predictable results. Human losses are substantial." But as hours passed, something extraordinary began happening. Human ships that should have been destroyed kept fighting with jury-rigged systems. Civilian vessels appeared from nowhere, converted to ramming speed. The orbital defense platforms revealed hidden weapon systems that far exceeded their supposed capabilities. "How are they accomplishing this?" demanded Ambassador Kretor, watching his tactical displays in fascination. Dr. Hillneth had been studying the engagement patterns. "They are not fighting a conventional battle. Every human vessel is fighting as if it contains the last human alive. They are using techniques we have never seen. Ramming attacks that maximize damage to the enemy while their own ship is dying. Coordinated strikes where damaged vessels serve as shields for functional ones." The tide began to turn on the second day. Admiral Vexiron's massive fleet, designed for conventional warfare, found itself dealing with an enemy that refused to follow tactical conventions. Human ships would ram hegemony vessels at the exact moment of weapon system overload, creating chain reactions. Seemingly destroyed human craft would suddenly reactivate and strike at vulnerable points. By the third day, the reports were becoming surreal. The humans have somehow converted their planetary mining equipment into orbital bombardment weapons, the monitoring AI reported. Civilian spacecraft are carrying out successful boarding actions against military vessels, and this cannot be correct. They appear to have weaponized their entertainment satellites. Ambassador Zekthara looked at his fellow council members with something approaching awe. They turned their television broadcast network into a cyber warfare platform. "Humans," High Counselor Morgath observed sagely, "have a saying, 'Necessity is the mother of invention.' When you threaten everything they hold dear, they will invent ways to hurt you that you never imagined possible." The final transmission from Admiral Vexiron came on the 7th day. His once mighty fleet was in full retreat, leaving behind nearly 2/3 of their vessels. The audio was garbled, filled with static and what sounded like sobbing. "Council, I formally request emergency arbitration. The humans, they fight like demons. They won't stop. Even with their ships dying around them, they keep coming. We yield. By all the gods of my ancestors, we yield." High Counselor Morgath leaned back in his chair as the transmission ended. Around the chamber, representatives sat in stunned silence. "Perhaps now," he said quietly, "the galaxy will remember why we invited humans to join this council in the first place. Not because they are peaceful, not because they are reasonable, but because when you share the universe with humans, you want them as allies, not enemies." Ambassador Yildana's biosuit had shifted to a deep blue of respect. "Should we send aid to the hegemony survivors?" "Oh, that won't be necessary," Dr. Hillneth said, checking his communications array. "The humans are already doing that. Apparently, they've dispatched medical vessels to assist their wounded enemies." The chamber fell silent once more as the implications sank in. In the span of a week, humanity had gone from facing annihilation to completely defeating a vastly superior force, and now they were saving the lives of those who had tried to destroy them. "Magnificent," whispered High Counselor Morgath. "Absolutely magnificent."